Welcome back to Ohio Country Today, and we're out standing in our field today here in western Auglaize County, and with me today is Danielle Matthews, Agronomy Consultant at United Equity. So we're going to talk about what's going on this time of the year, but Danielle, give us a little bit of background on yourself and what you do at United Equity and how you help producers maximize their profits.
So I grew up in a farm in Van Wert County specifically, graduated from Ohio State in 2014. But at United Equity, I am our seed salesman at Kossuth, and then I also help with our fertilizer recommendations, our chemical programs, basically giving farmers all the inputs that they may need for the growing season.
Well, it's that time of the year, as we said, there's a lot going on in ag right now. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on here at United Equity right now.
Specifically right now, we're moving from planting season, which is wrapping up, into nitrogen applications, which are very important and timing-wise. What United Equity offers is anhydrous 28. We can also do urea across the top or pre-plant. But what we really are trying to gear up for is nitrogen split application. Dan Hain previously talked to you guys about that, but we can do that also at Kossuth, so yeah.
Well, that's great. Split application of nitrogen is important, when we talk about being good stewards of the soil and environmentally sound practice.
So moving forward, where we kind of look at, because in agriculture you need to constantly be looking ahead, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, we foresee that nutrient management plans, whether you have animals or not, you're going to need to be aware of not only how much nitrogen, phosphorus, or potash that you're putting on, but how you're putting it on, and the timing wise when the plant actually needs it. So that's where we're trying to offer multiple timings to our farmers to make sure they're doing the best they can for the ground.
Well, it's not only when you time your applications, there's also, we talked off camera a little bit about how you think that everybody's going to need a nutrient plan.
Right. United Equity specifically offers an AccuAcre. That is our program for soil sampling, whether it be 2.5 acre grids. Specifically with the 4Rs, you are no longer able to do any soil sampling more than 20 acres. So every sample has to be less than 20, which we're really pushing our customers to do, like we said, whether or not they have animals, because the best thing you can do is put your money where it needs to be per farm, whether it's in a 2.5 acre or a 5 acre grid. So that's where we're really wanting our farmers to move towards, just to make sure that everyone at this time of year is really trying to figure out where the money can be best spent, and why not put it in the section of the field that needs it.
Well, you mentioned an interesting thing, and you talked about the 4Rs. You want to just remind folks what that 4R means?
The 4Rs are the right place, right time, right amount, and right source.
Danielle, we've talked about fertilizer environmental stewardship, but there's another critical component of what you do when it comes to agronomy.
Yeah, that is chemical programs, specifically corn and soybeans and wheat, but we also do offer those for alfalfa and hay crops. But the biggest thing that we've been dealing with is the constantly changing weed pressure, specifically weed resistance to chemicals that we're used to using. Roundup is no longer a very viable option besides to get the grass, so we're constantly looking at different chemical companies, what they have to offer, what we can do to keep a clean field, because that can be yield robbing as well.
Well, we talked about the chemistry and the changing and the weed resistant. We've seen some, particularly on our farm, we've seen some good results from using cover crops to help control some of those weeds that have some resistance as well.
Yes, cover crops can be very vital to helping keep out weeds, but those aren't exactly a fit for every acre. That's something that you need to talk to your agronomist about to make sure that that'll be a good option for you. But there are still chemical programs, specifically fall spraying, your corn stalks. If you're going to no-till soybeans, really you should do it regardless of tillage. Mare's tail have become quite pesky. Unfortunately, that doesn't help us with water hemp, which we have found very heavily in this area. What you're going to want to look for is residuals. So whether it be a residual right up front coming into your soybeans and then again in crop application, or just making sure that you're out there when the weeds are only 4 to 6 inches. They say pop can size is the proper size to spray weeds. So.
Well, you know, Danielle, there's a lot going on here and a lot of moving parts. And if somebody wanted to find out more, how can they do that?
So you can find out more by coming into our Kossuth branch and talking to me, or Ben Remfer is also a very good tool that I personally use, as well as all of our customers at Kossuth. And also we have our branch at Delphus. Dan Hain and Mike are great to work with. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions, whether it be about fertilizer, nutrient management plans, chemicals, so you name it. You can go ahead and call us at Delphus or Kossuth, or you can visit us on the web at unitedequityinc.com.
Well, Danielle, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll be back with more in Ohio Country Today right after this.
United Equity Inc. is your locally owned farm-based cooperative. For agronomic services, we offer seed and a full line of dry and liquid fertilizer, as well as soil sampling by soil type, grid, or management zone to best utilize your fertilizer application. Call us to discuss agronomic services customized for you. Reach your best yields with United Equity, serving Allen, Auglaize, Mercer, Putnam, and Van Wert counties. Visit us on the web at unitedequityinc.com.